All right, shalom, shalom. Before I begin this video, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rakah, Kodash. Give honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well and teach well, and honors to brothers who are bringing out this word in sincerity and in faith. All right, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Barakathum, and to you sincere and hopeful elect out there. So this is, the Spirit was put on me to basically name this that news reflects prophecy. All right, and everyday news reflects prophecy, but more and more so every day. It's getting to the point where basically every time you turn on the news, you're seeing prophecy now. And I was going to put this on my other channel. I believe that the channel that I'm using right now is Enduring Till Salvation Comes. I was going to put it on my other channel, The Election Shall Stand Boldly, and it says that I'm not able to put it on there at this time. So hopefully they didn't completely strike it out, because I thought my suspension was up as far as putting videos up there. But anywho, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play this. The Lord's will is edifying, and Barakath Yahweh, Barakath Yahweh Shai. Now getting through this, sickness, man, and getting through this cold or flu or whatever the case is, man. You got the tea, you gotta have the tea with the crushed up lemon, crushed up ginger, now to get you right, man. Ain't no need to go to the doctor unless it's, something dire and extreme, because for the most part, you got the natural remedies. Now to get you right, man. Now, of course, sometimes, you may have to take a Tylenol or this or that, but for the most part, you want to naturally try to flush out whatever you got going on, man. That's all part of the burdens of Babylon. You can't take too much, because, you take too many different medicines, you might have to go to work. That's going to affect your work and whatnot. Without further ado, I'm going to just let this play, and I'm going to go into a few of the precepts. We're actually going through the Spirit. I'm going to go, and I'm going to actually start off. Let's start off in here. All right, so this is 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 9. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I glory in my infirmities, that the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong, It's just like MJ during the flu game. He showed how great he was by continuing to, press forward, which, MJ is just, he's a jigger in the world. He's just another jigger. But that's a good comparison, and we have to continue to press forward, because sometimes, man, you'll wake up feeling absolutely horrible, but you have to continue to press forward. Okay. Verse 11, I am become a fool in glory. Ye have compelled me, for I ought to have been commended of you. For nothing am I behind the very chiefest apostles, though I be nothing. So so even Paul saw himself as nothing. Paul was a great man. Paul was really tasked with one of the most important things that a man of the Lord can be tasked with. Him specifically, in comparison to the other prophets, man, he was sent out during a time in which, people thought that, just like now, they thought that this was a skin color thing. So he was saying that, hey, Gentiles come in all colors and shapes and sizes. And Israel, being a child of Israel, it's a spiritual thing. So you can imagine how much hate that probably manifested in people, man. Especially because, at the time, to be a Jew, that was like a big thing, Basically, if you weren't, Judah, Benjamin, or Levi, it was kind of like, whatever. When in reality, Paul was put on the scene, just like all the men of the Lord, to bring together the hopeful elect of Israel, all 12 tribes of Israel. Right? Verse 13. For what is it wherein you were inferior to other churches, except it be that I myself was not burdensome to you? Forgive me this wrong. Behold, the third time I am ready to come to you. I will not be burdensome to you, for I seek not yours, but you. For the children ought not to lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children. All right, and see, he knows that. That's why he's taking away the power from the parent, because the parent is supposed to, really the parent is supposed to build the child up, so that the child eventually can build up, can build up their faith. That, and the Lord, that's genius for the Lord to do that. You start off as a baby, your parents raise you up, you become older, then they start to weaken. And right about the time that you become your strongest, that's when your elders physically become weaker and weaker. So that's like the perfect balance. So it says, verse 15, and I will very gladly spin and be spent for you, though the more abundantly I love you, the less I be loved. So the more he follows the law, statutes, and commandments, the more he tries to show his people the ways of Yahweh Shem Shai, the less he's loved. That's why he says, I will very gladly spend and be spent for you. So that's not talking about money. That's talking about that's talking about that spiritual money, man. Okay? He spent his whole life. Okay? He spent his whole life all the way up until his death, right? To seek out the hopeful elect of Israel and to tell them this message, man. And the more he did that, the less he was loved by the people. Because through the Spirit, Paul was a persecutor of the children of Israel. He was most likely loved, man. Beloved by all the Pharisees. He got all the fist bumps, and all the hugs, and now he's, now he's spending time around them. He's spending time around the prophets. So they're looking at him like he's the scum of the earth, right? Even though he's showing the ultimate, he's showing the ultimate showing of love. The same places where he persecuted Israel, that's where he was teaching at. Verse 16, but be it so, I did not burden you. Nevertheless, being crafty, I caught you with guile. So, just like when you're fishing, man, you gotta get, like the brothers in London say, you gotta get cheeky with it. You gotta mix it up. You had some of the men of the Lord, as they're teaching. You might have had somebody walk by and say, the person that's teaching next to you, he has leprosy. Why is he teaching next to you? And you might say, he does have leprosy. Come show him a thing or two. So he comes up and they start exchanging, words through the Spirit and through the scriptures. Next thing you know, he gets reeled in. Next thing you know, he asks, okay, when are you brothers going to be out here? I want to come out. Next thing you know, this brother's teaching right alongside you. And Jake is a supplanter, man. Jake is crafty. So, of course, Paul was crafty. He used the same craftiness that he learned as a Pharisee. He applied that, to being a man of Yahweh Shem Shai in righteousness, But let me go ahead and go back. I'm going to go ahead and let the video play.
Tonight, Pfizer taking a major step forward with its COVID vaccine. The company asking for full FDA approval for use in people 16 and older. While it could be a game changer in the race to vaccinate, and indoor mask mandates the new path to lift them from the former chief of the FDA. The growing pressure on the CDC to take action. Also, Derek Chauvin and 3 other former Minneapolis police officers indicted on new federal charges in the George Floyd case, and Chauvin also now charged for another incident in 2017, the violence he's accused of using against a 14-year-old boy. The stunning new report, the U.S. having only a fraction of the 1 million plus jobs economists had expected in April, how President Biden is answering critics who say his COVID relief package may be to blame. The out-of-control Chinese rocket hurtling toward Earth this weekend, and the concerns tonight, where will the 20 tons of space junk land? The amazing rescue in a car crash, throwing a toddler off a bridge, plunging 25 feet into the water below. The Good Samaritan who jumped off and saved her life, stepping forward to reveal his identity. And on this Mother's Day weekend, the emotional reunions more than a year in the making.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening, everyone. With all signs pointing to a steadily improving COVID situation in this country on the strength of an aggressive vaccination program, Pfizer says it is now seeking full FDA approval for its vaccine. In use since December under an emergency use authorization, the move signals growing confidence in the shots. Full government approval could potentially erase hesitations over the maturity of the vaccine that have kept some people from receiving it. Tonight, the effort to rekindle slowing demand for vaccines is getting increasingly creative amid hope less restrictive COVID guidelines could be coming soon. Miguel Almaguer leads us off tonight.
With Pfizer now officially seeking and likely to receive full FDA approval for its COVID vaccine, the move could put more shots into the hands of local doctors, just as more federally funded mass vaccination sites begin to close. Official approval could also make it easier for schools and employers to require the vaccine. And while authorities hope it builds more public confidence, tonight 110 million adults are still not vaccinated.
We have a long way to go to get young Americans vaccinated.
Today, the CDC director said more must be done to convince the young. According to new data, roughly a quarter of those 18 to 29 say they will wait and see how the vaccine works, higher than any other age group.
Get your first dose?
Authorities are going to great lengths to vaccinate, even getting doses out to sea to fishermen in remote areas of Alaska. 150 million Americans have at least one shot.
Once I got vaccinated, it was no holds barred.
The growing numbers could soon lead to major changes in face mask mandates, says former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb.
I think it's going to be self-evident that the prevalence has declined to levels where the risk just isn't what it was.
By the end of this month, Gottlieb believes the CDC could consider lifting mask restrictions indoors in what would be a major about-face.
I think we should start lifting these restrictions as aggressively as we put them in. The only way to earn public credibility is to demonstrate that you're willing to relax these provisions when the situation improves.
Amid reminders of how deadly the pandemic can be, 750 bodies are still refrigerated in trucks in Brooklyn. Tonight, there are more signs of hope. This Southern California hospital, once overrun, no longer has a single COVID patient. Tonight, the pandemic may not yet be over, but new signs, the end may be near.
Miguel, let's get back to that possibility of reviewing face mask mandates indoors. Is there any timeline for that?
Well, Lester, the CDC has always said it continues to review.
You really have to consider what they're saying, man. You really have to consider what they're saying. See, when it showed 150 million people haven't taken the thing, man, you brothers fit into that category. So you gotta understand, it's gonna get down to the point where only us are gonna be the only people that are not agreeing with the agenda that's on the line, man. Okay, so get ready to come up against your family, get ready to come up against your woman, get ready to come up against your kids, your sweet granny, get ready to come up against everybody that you know and love. because it's about to get heated out here, man. They are literally about to make you choose between life, okay, and death. All right, and if we have to choose death here on the earth, man, in order to have life in the kingdom, man, you must take that, man. Now, of course, 2/3 of Israel is they're going to take this, and they're going to take the CHIP. But through the Spirit, we know that there's going to be a certain amount of people who don't now, and that's who we're speaking to. We're not speaking to the general consensus of people in the world. They are going to continue to take these things, man. These CHIPs and these VAXs.
UN updated its guidance on mandates, including face masks. Officials have said there'll be more changes down the road, but they have not yet indicated if a change this big is in the pipeline. Lester?
All right, Miguel, thank you. And for a check on where we stand on vaccinations, we asked NBC's Steve Kornacki to look at the numbers for us. Steve, what do we know?
Well, Lester, let's start with some good news here. These numbers. This is what you're looking at. Folks in America who have at least one dose, the entire population, the adult age population, 18 plus, and senior citizens right there. Again, nearly 60% of adults in this country now have at least one dose of the vaccine. And look at this. These are the fully vaccinated numbers. More than 40% of adults now fully vaccinated in this country. That's the good news. Here's the worrying news. This is the trend. You see here for the last month, the number of new doses administered each day, it's been coming down. A lot of unvaccinated folks still out there. If you are one of them, go to claimyourvaccine.com. You can figure out where and when to get it. Lester.
Still some challenges. Steve, thank you. He has been convicted of murder in the death of George Floyd, but tonight former police officer Derek Chauvin is now facing new federal charges. Plus, Michelle Obama is speaking out about the Chauvin verdict. Let's start off with Gabe Gutierrez.
Weeks after being led out of a Minneapolis courtroom in handcuffs for the murder of George Floyd, former police officer Derek Chauvin is now facing new federal civil rights charges.
It sends a message that equal justice is possible in America.
The indictment says Chauvin deprived Floyd of his constitutional right to be free from the use of unreasonable force by a police officer. Chauvin and 3 other officers also face a charge for failing to give Floyd medical aid. The federal grand jury also returned a second indictment against Chauvin in connection with the 2017 incident in which Chauvin allegedly held a 14-year-old student by the throat and struck him multiple times in the head with a flashlight.
Why didn't prosecutors bring up that case during the previous trial?
Gabe, prosecutors wanted to bring up the case, but the judge ruled that he was going to limit their ability to get into past wrongs involving Derek Chauvin. He also made it clear that if prosecutors went too far, he could clear the case in this trial.
Chauvin's attorney declined to comment on the new federal indictment, but he's appealed for a new trial on the state charges, in part because of the pretrial publicity. And he claims that the jury felt race-based pressure during the proceedings. Attorneys for the other 3 officers also declined or could not be reached for comment. They are scheduled to head to trial together on state charges of aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter later this summer. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News.
I'm Rahima Ellis. Today, Michelle Obama reacting to the Chauvin verdict as a former First Lady.
There's still work to be done.
But mostly as the mother of 2 Black girls.
Every time they get in a car by themselves, I worry about what assumption is being made by somebody who doesn't know everything about them.
On CBS News, Mrs. Obama suggesting neither privilege nor prestige makes them immune from what is often expressed in protests.
I, like so many parents of Black kids, have to, that the innocent act of getting a license puts fear in our hearts.
3 weeks ago, after the Chauvin verdict, the Obamas issued a rare statement. Mrs. Obama says they felt compelled to speak out. It's not the first time. When Trayvon Martin was killed, then President Obama also had a personal reaction as a Black man.
I said that this could have been my son.
Now this.
All those Black Lives Matters kids, they'd rather not have to worry about this. They're taken to the streets because they have to. They're trying to have people understand that we're real folks.
Spoken like a mother, hoping to be heard. Rahima Ellis, NBC News.
In just 60 seconds, the flying object that will crash somewhere this weekend on Earth. A big disappointment today on the jobs front. The economy adding far fewer jobs last month than expected. Unemployment now at 6.1%. Stephanie Rule now on the challenges of getting people back to work.
Curtis Bashaw is gearing up for a busy summer. He usually hires 500 seasonal workers for his hotels on the Jersey Shore.
It's never been this hard to hire.
With just weeks to go, he's only halfway there.
What will it mean to your business if you don't get to full staff?
Well, we're going to get there, but your option is to cut your services.
Economists expected more than 1 million jobs to be added in April, but today's report came in with far less, just 266,000.
We never thought that after the first 50 or 60 days, everything would be fine. Today, there's more evidence our economy is moving in the right direction.
NBC's Kelly O'Donnell asked the president about the extra unemployment benefits put in place during the pandemic that critics say can pay more than some jobs.
Do you believe enhanced unemployment benefits had any effect on diminishing a return to work in some categories?
No, nothing measurable.
In March, Eleanor Fernandez told us she's been looking for work for nearly a year. But at the time, she was only being offered low-paying, part-time positions.
You've been offered those jobs but didn't take them?
I haven't taken them yet because, honestly, the unemployment is a little bit more than the pay, too. I'll just be honest with that. It covers all my bills.
Some states are taking action. Next month, South Carolina and Montana are ending federal unemployment benefits, including the extra $300 a week. And in Maine, workers will have to prove they're actively looking for unemployment to receive the extra money. For the first time in months, Christopher Gregory will not be filing for unemployment. Today is his first day back on the job at a movie theater in Idaho.
Never really expected to find myself out of work. It's exciting to get a real paycheck.
Stephanie, the president says his recovery plan will take more time. When might we begin to see change?
Lester, that money is just starting to make its way out the door. For example, $28 billion was allocated to the restaurant industry. Those additional funds will hopefully help increase wages and get more workers back on the payroll.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. Good to have you here tonight. Let's start this next story by telling you that everything is probably going to be okay. The thing is, no one knows right now where pieces of a large Chinese rocket are going to crash back on Earth this weekend. Our Gotti Schwartz is keeping a watch.
It started with the launch of a massive Chinese rocket, delivering a piece of Chinese space station under construction. But now that 9-story tall rocket bottom, one of the biggest objects to ever make re-entry, is hurtling around the Earth out of control at 18,000 miles an hour and could hit nearly anywhere. China downplaying the risks. NBC's Janice Mackey-Freyer is in Beijing.
Chinese officials are confident the falling rocket won't cause any harm, and they dismiss the criticism as Western hype.
Orbiting space junk around Earth has increased dramatically and is closely monitored. Most of the rocket is expected to burn in the atmosphere, like controlled re-entries recently seen over the U.S., and could disintegrate to pieces the size of a basketball. But last year, another massive Chinese rocket body may have struck near a village in West Africa. Another Chinese rocket debris has fallen onto populated areas, destroying buildings. Right now, the Department of Defense is monitoring the rocket's trajectory.
We have the capability to do a lot of things, but we don't have a plan to shoot it down as we speak.
And Lester, we're told no matter where this comes down, our tracking system should be able to pinpoint exactly where it will hit at least a couple of hours before impact. Lester?
In the meantime, we'll all be looking up. Gotti, thank you. The COVID catastrophe in India is prompting a growing number of Indian-American doctors to join the fight from here. Here's NBC's Dasha Burns with that.
Doctors Avinash and Geeta Gupta just finished a 10-hour hospital shift at Monmouth Medical Center in New Jersey. Now at home, they're gearing up for a different kind of shift, triaging and treating COVID patients in India.
20 milligrams twice daily.
The country is in the throes of a COVID catastrophe. India's healthcare system passed its breaking point. IVs hang from trees as sick patients are treated on the ground.
There is no hospital beds and no oxygen, no even basic things.
For more than 2 weeks, there have been over 300,000 new cases every single day. The Guptas, both from India, sprang into action, launching a growing coalition of Indian American doctors in the U.S., using telemedicine to help.
This way we can not clog the hospitals and leave the beds open for patients who are really sick.
They answer questions from patients and frightened family members.
Can I keep both
a mother and son in the same room.
They look over test results and recommend treatments.
Let me know if you get worse. How significant could this kind of intervention be?
It can save lives.
And it's personal for the Guptas.
My worst nightmare came true.
Geeta's 87-year-old mother just tested positive for the virus. And Avinash is trying to spare others the pain he's experiencing.
I lost my brother-in-law and I lost one sister also to this COVID.
You are processing your own grief. At the same time, you're actually taking action to help.
The best way to be happy is to go out and help other people.
Doing everything they can to be on the front line, even from a world away.
We call it Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is a family. And we cannot isolate ourselves.
Dasha Burns, NBC News.
Wait a minute.
Breaking news from Jerusalem tonight. Violent clashes between Palestinian worshippers and Israeli.
Wait, hold up. Now, if you just heard what he just said, all right, he just said that the whole world, right, it's his family. Well, how come you're not helping everybody now? You see, Elam is helping Elam because that's all that Elam cares about, man. And the real reason why they don't want to go back to India is because they don't want to be stuck out there in India. They want to be in America, making American money, driving American sports cars, living in an American house. They don't want to go back to India. They've been Americanized, okay? They have been sipping that Babylonian juice, man, and they don't want to get off of it, man. Okay? I mean, it's crazy how you can see this coalition of doctors come together on this issue. Yet all these other issues go out the window, man. Right? How is it these doctors got enough time in their day to go all the way on another side of the world and help them? Yet when the men of the Lord are bringing out the word, right, and using the internet to help, all of a sudden that isn't effective. Well, that doesn't matter, right? You see, that's how you know people got demons on them, man. This word has hit the whole. This word is spread across the four corners of the earth. Okay. So this is another form of telemedicine, you know what I mean? Because this word heals you, you know, and that's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Let me go ahead and go to this next part right here.
Police at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, more than 150 people are injured. The violence coming after Israel threatened to evict dozens of Palestinians from an East Jerusalem neighborhood. Up next, the hero who jumped off a bridge to save a baby, revealed. Back now with the hero who jumped off a bridge to save a toddler's life, speaking out. Here's Kristen Dongin.
This is what a hero by boat, and she was rushed to a hospital. This afternoon, Jonathan was able to thank those boaters. Developed after a 2018 viral video of students chanting the N-word. First had the community united, but then some parents saw it as an effort to discriminate against white students.
There will be no home for this toxic ideology here in Southlake.
Many believing the school can address racist incidents with its existing code of conduct.
So now the work begins.
Southlake's candidates opposing the plan declined interviews, but Hannah Smith, winner of a school board seat, said in a statement to NBC News, "The voters have come together. They don't want racially divisive critical race theory taught to their children or forced on their teachers." Parents like Robin Cornish worry about what comes next.
Do I stand and fight? Because honestly, that's what Black people do. Is it worth saying? Is this worth subjecting my kids to this?
At a school board meeting Monday night, parents were as divided as ever.
The false narrative of rampant racism within CISD is over. Indoctrination of children is over.
This is a public school district, and the board's legal mandate is to protect and educate all students, not just white, Christian, conservative students.
You want to make it national? Sure. Let's go national. Tell a story.
Fights over anti-racism education have become a new flashpoint across the country, happening in states from Utah, Virginia, Arizona, and even California.
This isn't something that started in 2018.
High school senior Nikki Olaleye, who I first spoke to in February, has been a vocal advocate of the diversity plan. Was that all for nothing?
It wasn't for nothing, but it just hurt me that
a lot of these students who had to go through all of this horrible, horrible treatment aren't getting to see the better that comes out of it.
Nikki graduates at the end of May. Her family isn't sure they'll stay in town.
You can't tell people of color to just pretend that racism isn't there. You can't tell them that because you do not believe that there is systemic racism in Southlake, it does not exist. Because we know it not to be true.
Antonia Hilton, NBC News, Southlake, Texas.
We'll take a short break. Up next, for so many, a Mother's Day like no other. For countless American families, this Mother's Day, just being together at last, will be the biggest gift of all.
You know, when I saw him, to have something good.
Emotional bullshit, man. Emotional bullshit. Let me tell you something, brothers. All right, it's nothing good about Mother's Day. There's not one good thing about Mother's Day, man. Mother's Day is a waste of time, and it's bullshit. Now, for you brothers who happen to live around your parents, and go say what's up, to your mom, whatever. If you live far away, call her, whatever the case is, man. But don't take it too far, man. Don't take it too far, because that's half the reason why we're in this predicament that we're in, man. Because really, Mother's Day is really a worshiping of Woman Day. Okay, you can say, oh, that's taking it too far, man. That's what it is. That's what it is, man. Okay? Yeah, you have to seriously consider this, man, why we're in the condition that we are in. Okay, it's because of things like this, man, the worshiping of women. All right, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and continue down where I was reading from. Slovakia. All right, so going to 1 Timothy chapter 2. Chapter 2, and I'm going to start at 12. And you can probably guess what was about to come out. Slovakia. All right. So this is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. But I suffer a woman not to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. But you already know what's going to be happening, man. Crab legs, shrimp dinners. It's going to be all sorts of debauchery on quote-unquote Mother's Day, man. Okay, when really you should be looking at your mother like, what did you do? All right, why are we in this condition now? Okay, once again, it says, for Adam was first formed in Eve. Now, Father's Day, I can't even tell you when Father's Day is. I'm not gonna lie. But we always know around what time Mother's Day is. Because this is a matriarchal society. This isn't a patriarchal society. A father is seen as nothing, especially here in America, man. Yeah, we know that not to be true. We know that the father carries, the seed, man. Let's go to the next chapter. All right, 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 15. But if I tarry long, thou mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of Yahweh, which is the church of the living power, the pillar and the ground of truth, right, which is really amongst the brotherhood, amongst the brothers. Right? It says, and without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. The women are the number one contributor to controversy. Right, for you brothers on Sunday, stay strong, man. Don't fall into the Mother's Day trap. And once again, ain't nothing wrong with, saying what's up to your mom, la di da di da. But don't fall into the Kanye West, hey mama. Which that song came on my phone earlier, and I was listening to it, man. I just got to thinking, man, how come the women in our lives get all the credit? It's because they have removed the man from the situation to even receive credit, man. That's really why they say that. Well, God has to be a woman, or God doesn't have a sex, right? Because they want to take manhood out of everything, including the Heavenly Father, man. It's the Heavenly Father, not the Heavenly Mother. And you niggas, I'm speaking about you niggas like Umar Johnson, Polite, Queen Mother Earth and all that bullshit. What has Queen Mother Earth done for us, man? What the fuck have they done for us? They ain't done nothing for us, man. We stuck in here in these conditions. Yeah, what did they say? Oh, we need to wait for a better day. What has that done, man? And now that the brothers, man, starting off with the elder apostles of Great Millstone, hitting the highways and byways, bringing this word out. Now that we are proactively getting out of the situation that we're in, now all of a sudden we want to stop that, man. That's why it says, and without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. So when you're watching a video of brothers teaching, usually when the brothers are all teaching, it's cool until somebody comes up scoffing, man. Because there's no controversy. See, a lot of people like to watch the videos for the controversy of this person called this person the devil. But when you have just brothers just teaching, that's some of the best moments. You're able to learn things. You're able to, everything comes together right. Now, of course, the devil comes in. Right, it says, Yahweh was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? Yahweh created Yahushai, which that spirit entered a body, right, through sex. Joseph and Mary had sex in order to create Yahushai physically, right? Because we're nothing. Our bodies are nothing but raiment. It's nothing but bone and flesh. It's the spirit that's within us that's important, right? So in order to have Yahushai, you had to have Yahweh. So it says Yahweh was manifest in the flesh through his son Yahushua, right? Justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles. So our Lord, right, was on the scene preaching to the Gentiles, which were the Israelite foreigners, right? The Israelites who had a Gentile state of mind. Right? It says believed on in the world. And who is that? The world of the hopeful elect. Not amongst you damn heathens, right? And the 2/3 of Israel that have basically the mind of a heathen, or a brute beast, right? It says received up into glory. And how is he received up into glory? By the chariots. Which Lord's will, they're coming to get us away from you damn people, man. We don't want to be around you damn people. All right, 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. You have certain brothers, man, who they fall off and fall out, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. There's a woman in their ear, why would a baby die? You listening to some sick people. They laugh because George Floyd died. You damn right we laughing, man. That nigga deserve what he got, man. He's all right in the kingdom. Why would we worry about that? He's all good, right? It says speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. So 2/3 is not gonna get it. Right? Not only that, they're speaking lies and hypocrisy. Here it is, they want to talk about justice, no peace. These are the same docile ass people, man. They're fucking hypocrites. No justice, no peace. Where's justice for Israel, man? We want more than just justice for quote unquote black people. There's no justice in that, man. Because there's no such thing as black. What the fuck is black? It says 1 Timothy 4 and 3, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which Yahweh hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. For every creature of Yahweh is good and nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving. And I don't mean you can eat whatever you want to. That just means that every creature has its purpose. A pig is a natural garbage disposal, right? A squid has its purpose. Clams have its purpose. It's supposed to clean out. It's the filter of the sea. Shrimp have its purpose, right? But that don't mean you're supposed to be eating it. It just means it is good. There's nothing wicked about a pig. There's nothing wicked about a shrimp. There's nothing wicked about a squid. It's you consuming of that, you know. It says, for it is sanctified by the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and prayer. Verse 6, if thou put the brethren in remembrance of these things, thou shalt be a good minister of Yahushua HaMashiach, nourished up in the words of faith and of good doctrine, whereunto thou hast attained. So, hey man, by accepting this word, and taking this word on as the truth, man, we have to hold on to it, man. This is good. This is faith. This is good doctrine. You know. Verse 7, but refuse profane and old wives' fables, and exercise thyself rather of the godliness. So forget the BS. All right, the profane and the old wives' fables. You know, there's many of those. Come on now. For bodily exercise profiteth little, the godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that is now, Slakia, of the life that now is, and of that which is to come. So, you know, nothing wrong with getting your workout on, you know. But you don't need to be spending every hour in the gym trying to get quote unquote buff, man. We're worried about what's to come, man. Which is the kingdom. We're worried about the kingdom. All right, we're worried about the promise of the life that now is. Okay, we have been promised that there is a hope. There is a hopeful elect out there. Even if we're not of the elect, there is an elect out there. That's something that the Lord basically guaranteed Israel. Verse 9. This is a faithful saying and worthy of all exception. For therefore we both labor and suffer reproach, because we trust in the living power. Yes, we trust in a power that's actually alive right now. As I speak, it says, who is the Savior of all men, especially of those that believe. So when it says a Savior of all men, it's speaking about Israel. And it says especially of those that believe, which really is the elect. Right? The 144,000, the 1/3. Verse 11, these things command and teach. So we are to teach these things, man. Verse 12, let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word and conversation, in charity, in spirit, and faith, and purity. All right? So just because you younger brothers, man, you young, you 14, 15, you know, you get into the word, man, and you get to the point where you're able to teach. Don't let anybody tell you no different, man. If you're teaching in sincerity and in faith, you know, and you're doing it through the proper channels, man. All right, it says in word and conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity, man. It says till I come. So that don't mean till you get tired, till you get bored. Right now, till the Heavenly Father through his Son comes, right? We have to continue to push this word out. It says till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. So constantly being in this word. Right? Neglect not the gift that is in you. So yeah, man, certain brothers, you're on the fence about teaching. Here it is, you got a gift. You know, you got a very good gift that you don't want to teach. I just want to watch. No, man. The Spirit is on you to teach, right? You need to be teaching. Okay? It says, which was given thee by prophecy. Right? So it was prophesied that men were to be given this gift. The gift of prophecy. Prophecy is a gift. Right? To say before, to prophesy. Right? With the laying on of the hands of the presbytery. Meditate upon these, meditate upon these things. So, you know, meditate on it, man. Think about how the Heavenly Father has put you in a position to learn and then to teach, man. Right? With the laying on of the hands of the presbytery. You know, we have been put in a position in which our elders have laid their hands upon us and taught us the way, and now we can teach others, man. Right? And those others meaning, you know, other children of Israel. So meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all. So it'll show, right? Your works will show. You putting your best foot forward, so to speak, it'll show. Right? Verse 16, I'm in the video. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. So it's calling out an SOS, you know. It's calling out an SOS to the children of Israel, right? For them to hear us and to hear our doctrine, to hear our testimony. You know, there's certain brothers, they are enemies in their own household, man. You know, for this doctrine's sake. These brothers are enemies they're enemies with their village, they're enemies within their neighborhood, within their state, within their country. Right? They consider us, you know, DTs, domestic T-ists, you know, all for a doctrine. All right, and your family isn't going to understand that. Your woman isn't going to understand that. That's why it says, take heed unto thyself. I mean, take heed, you know, take heed unto your children. Take heed unto your, you know, I mean, your woman. You know, take heed unto thyself. You know, reflect on yourself. Whatever your woman's talking about, fuck what your woman's talking about. Fuck what your kids are talking about. Fuck what your family's talking about, man. You don't need to be worried about that, right? Look unto the doctrine of Yahweh Shema. Everything's going to be taken care of from that, man. By you following the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema, by you basically doing what the Heavenly Father asks you to do, He's going to make a way for you, man. It may not be the way that you like. It may not be the way that you know, that you see. You know, but the Heavenly Father has a plan for all of us, right? And by all of us, I mean the children of Israel. But He also has a plan for these other nations too, which is destruction, right? And servitude. It says, so let me read that again. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 16. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine of Yahweh Shai. Continue in them. Yes, so continue to move forward. Once again, it don't matter what your women say, what your kids say, what your job say. You need to continue in Yahweh Shai. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Right? So you can wind up saving them, right? By sticking to this word. Right? And the Spirit just has me going to the next chapter. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 1. Rebuke not an elder when they treat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren, you know. So how you would treat an elder, you need to treat him the same way you treat your pops, man. You gotta treat the younger brothers like you treat your, you know, your actual brother. All right, now a lot of us have, you know, relatives, but your true family is the hopeful elect of Israel, man. Don't get it twisted. Your family, you know, your family may like you, blase, but a lot of times they don't want you teaching this truth. They want you fucked up. They want you all the way fucked up. Because see, a lot of times, these people that are in your life, they ultimately don't have an excuse when it comes to this word because they've heard it. They've heard the word before. They've seen you teaching. They know what you do. They've seen you reading. They've seen you writing down notes. They know what you're about. So they've honestly been closer to the truth than these regular people in the world, man. So the Lord is really going to do a number on the family members of those who are in the truth. You know, when the Lord really starts knocking down people, He's going to be knocking them down first, really. You know, and it says the elder women as mothers, the younger as sisters with all purity. Honor widows that are widows indeed. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home and to requite their parents, for it is good and acceptable before Yahweh. Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate trusteth in Yahweh, and continueth in supplications and prayers night and day. And she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. And these things giving charge, that they may be blameless. But if any not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel. Yeah, man. So you denied the faith, and you're within the house of Israel. Now I can expect a heathen to be talking shit. You can expect an actual child of Israel to be talking shit against a man of Yahweh Shemiah Shai, but it happens more often than not, you know? Because it's like they say the same things that they said in the past. Well, nigga, who are you? All of a sudden you got an internet connection, you done learned a few things, now all of a sudden you're better than us. This, that, and the third, right? Which is true. We have gotten the internet connection. We have learned some things, and we have become better than most of the people that are around us. You know what I mean? It's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. It don't have nothing to do with the internet, per se. It's the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Right? A lot of people that are around you, right? Friends, family, you know, just the people that are around you in your day to day. Some of these people, they heard the word before you did, you know. So there is no excuse. There's no excuse for this word. Oh, I didn't know. That's out of the window, man. So when the Lord starts killing these niggas, you really can't feel any sort of way. You know, in fact, you kind of want that to happen. I mean, you want the Lord to start taking people out, man. We want that to happen. We want people to start dropping from this max. We want that to happen, man. You know, because it's almost like I told you so sort of thing, which we constantly say that. Everything that happens and continues to move in prophecy, we say, well, see, I told you that was going to happen, you know. And it's because Yahweh Shemiah Shai is telling us that it's going to happen through prophecy. All right, verse 9. Let not a widow be taken into the number under 60 years old, having been the wife of one man. So a score is 20. So I believe that would be 60, right? Well reported of for good works, she have brought up children. If she have lodged strangers, if she have washed the saints' feet, if she have relieved the afflicted, if she have diligently followed every good work. But the younger widows refused. When they have begun to wax wanton against Mashiach, they will marry, having damnation because they had cast off their first faith. And withal they learned to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. There's a Jake today, man. I will therefore that the younger woman marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully, which, you know, that doesn't happen today. Women are supposed to be very, very young, marrying and having children, man. And we all know what age that's supposed to be. It's very young, okay? Verse 15. For some are already turned aside after Satan, turned out. If any man or woman that believeth have widows, let them relieve them, and let not the church be charged, that it may that it may relieve them that are widows indeed. Verse 17, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. So once again, you know, Shalom, Yahweh Shemiah Shabbat Shem Kodash Brakatham. All right, the double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone. All right, for the scriptures say, thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward. Yeah, man. So, you know, you say, oh, these guys are washed up. How they washed up? You know, elders are still out on the highways and byways, man. More than your ass. They got more content than all of us put together, man. They got videos from the 80s, you know. So I mean, even before they was putting content on the internet, they was out on the highways and byways. So there's really no way for you to you know, to come up against it. Right? It says, against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. Them that sin rebuke before all, the others also may fear. I charge thee before Yahweh, and the Lord Yahweh Shah and the elect angels, that thou observe these things without preferring one before another, doing nothing by partiality. And so just like the Lord has no respect of persons, you know, we have to take the, you know, okay, I like this elder. He wouldn't do that, right? Yeah, take that out. If you know, catch an elder doing something he's not supposed to be doing, you know, you have to do the same process. You know, go to another brother, speak on it. Y'all three go speak to the elder about it, you know, and get it figured out, man. It's supposed to be all love, man. You know, verse 22, lay hands suddenly on no man, neither be partaker of another man's sins. Keep thyself pure, so don't go fighting him, pulling up on him, you know, and don't partake in whatever he's being accused of, you know. Verse 23, drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake in thine often infirmities. So does that mean just don't drink water? No, man. Come on, man. Some men's sins are open beforehand, going before to judgment, and some men they follow after. Likewise, also the good works of some are manifest beforehand, and they that are otherwise cannot be hid. Yeah, man. So you have certain brothers, man, who before they went into the truth, you know, they were doing quote unquote good in the world or whatnot, but they were still going off, right? They come into the truth in that those things are perfected, right? Just like you have brothers who are doing bad in the world, they turn that around and did quote unquote good, you know? And those things cannot be hid. You know, so that's why it's important for brothers to correct each other, you know? It's important for brothers to look after each other, man, because we all that we got, man. Point blank. You know, so this went a lot longer than I anticipated, but of course, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, that's what it is, man. But that's very important, man, to understand that, hey, it's all about the brotherhood, man. Your family, of course, you know, family, okay, that's cool, whatever. The true family is the hopeful elect of Israel, all right? These are the only people that understand, all right? So for different brothers, man, you are in an area in which you have different brothers around you. Cherish that, man. You know, certain brothers, you know, you may have an elder that's 3 hours away. This brother's 4 hours away. You know, such and such. So just cherish that, man, and understand that we're in this together. The hopeful elect are in this together, man. In the kingdom, we're going to have the time of our lives, man. We're not gonna go off, so we're not gonna have to, you know, have counsels on each other and different things like that, man. Because you got these different brothers who you have a respect and you have a love for, you know. And I say this like every other video, but you know, that elder Zabak, you know, that's a great brother. He just teaches things that are off, man. Man, the kingdom Lord's will, man. He's you know. He is perfect, man. That's what we hope for. You know, there's old videos of him, you know, in New York, you know, bringing out the word. He's brought a lot of brothers into this truth. Now, many of those brothers that came into the truth that came up under a false narrative and a false sense of what it is to be an Israelite. He brought a lot of brothers into this truth who eventually came into the teachings, the true teachings of Yahweh Shem Shah. You know, so and that falls into the infirmities I was speaking of earlier. But coming up under another group, that's an infirmity. That's an infirmity, you know. Like you may have been up under IUIC. Now, you know, you learned about the Great Millstone. You're understanding the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Shah for what it really is, right? And so you're learning from that. You're learning, okay, there are different groups that are, you know, basically BS, and then this is the real group. Which, if you watch the video from last week, the elder apostles were saying that, you know, Great Millstone is just a name. They said, fuck that. Fuck the name, man. It's all about the teachings of Yahweh Shem Shah, you know. So, yeah. All right. So we'll go ahead and I'm in there through the Spirit. All the praise, honor, and glory goes into Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Rakah, Kodash. Shemai, Yasha'Allah, Adonai Yahweh, Yahweh, Achad. Hear, O Israel, our power is one, man. Okay? We have to continue to press forward, man. Pray for your brothers. Pray for the whole full elect, man. hey, don't be complacent in the day to day. This is what this devil wants you to do. He wants you to think that everything's cool, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden he gonna snap, man. So get ready for that. Get ready for that. Get ready for things to really go over the hill, so to speak. Now, it's what, January, February, March, April, May. You know, it's about to be June, man. We almost halfway through 2021. Lord's will, we don't reach 2022. But the Lord has us to go to 2022. We need to have that shield. We need to have that helmet. We need to have that sword, man. You know, and we have to, man. We have to. We can't go into this battle without no armor on. We ain't gonna make it. You know. And the brother Hebrew Israelite, you know, Shalom, Yahbashana, Shabashem, Harakat Kodash, Brakathama to you, man. Okay, man. Hey, man. May the Heavenly Father continue to inspire you to go through the videos, man, and just keep pushing. Because we're in the times in which we're coming up on the end of this thing now. You know, when I was first coming into this truth, there were certain brothers that, certain elders and certain brothers that made a video once every like 3 or 4 days, you know, and through the Spirit, a lot of brothers at that time was able to learn things. We were going through the basics and other things. But now, you know, for a lot of you brothers that's just now coming into the truth, you learned that you was an Israelite a week ago, it's like stepping into a full-fledged war. Because this is a war, you know. So you're being added into this war, and it's all out chaos, you know. But continue to look towards the elders, man. The elders will show you the ways to go, you know. Because I was lucky enough, and I'm relatively new to the faith, man. I've only been in this thing for a few years, so I can only imagine somebody who, you know, who's been in this thing for a week, you know, to understand what's going on. But I kind of had the opportunity, you know, and there's a phase in which when we first get into this truth, I mean, I wasn't sleeping. I was watching all the videos, you know. I was going through all the, you know, everything. I was trying to build everything up, you know, through the Spirit, you know. And then one day I was watching a video, and the elder apostle Tahar said, you know, if you know this certain amount of precepts or whatever, you know, you need to go out and teach. He was yelling. He was screaming at it. He was very angry, and, you know, and that really sparked some in me. Like, I got to go out. I gotta teach. You know what I mean? And then the rest is history, man. Now we're teaching in Lord's will. We can teach others that teach others that teach others, man. Just like, you know, our elder apostles were taught by, you know, High Priest Arya, King Masha, High Priest Yaikwab, you know, and of course, High Priest Abba Bivens, you know, great men of the Lord. And there's not going to be men like them no more, man. Those are the last of the great men. We won't reach the age of like the elder apostle Tahar, elder apostle Ramah, elder apostle Rakah, you know, elder apostle Gabar. We won't reach that age, man. So we got to soak this word up while we can, you know. And in the kingdom, they're gonna be young men. You can see that they're getting older now. You know, the voice from, you know, all that yelling over the years, man. It's messed up their voice, but their voice is still stronger than ever. You know, the concrete and the being out in the elements, it has hurt their bodies, yet they're stronger than ever. You know, the elder apostles of Great Millstone, man, they could, you know, knock just about anybody out in a boxing match. You know what I mean? That's not what this is about. It's about spiritual warfare, man. It's all about the spirit, man. And just like it says, I'm going to reread 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 25. Likewise, also the good works of some are manifest beforehand. Yeah, so, you know, before certain brothers came into the truth, they had certain levels of understanding. Now that's enhanced, you know. This is they that are otherwise cannot be hid. So ultimately, this truth cannot be hid. Your intentions cannot be hid. You know, if you're coming with a pure heart, with pure intentions, you know, the Lord is going to reveal that. If you're coming with an impure heart, impure intentions, and the Lord is going to reveal that, man. And all we want to do is bring people closer to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. That's it. That's all we want. We don't want to be recognized from men. We don't want money. We don't want none of that, man. Ultimately, we want the kingdom. That's what this is all about. Bringing out this word brings forth day by day the kingdom. And the kingdom is coming, brothers. The kingdom is coming, man. So, once again, the Spirit just had me kind of go into that real quick. But all the praise, honor, and glory goes into Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakah Kodash. Once again, double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well and teach well and taught me this truth. And honors to you brothers who are bringing out this word in sincerity and in faith. All right, your brother Jasham. I may the Heavenly Father continue to watch over you brothers, man. All right, to you women who have men that are in the truth, man, you need to fall your ass in line. All right, fall your ass in line, or else you're gonna pay heavy consequences, man. So we in that time, we in the time of the women not getting right, the Lord is gonna get rid of you out here, man. Okay, and that's just to the Spirit. We're saying that to the Spirit. And once again, Yabashim Shabashim Kakadash Brakatham to you, brother, Hebrew Israelite. If you haven't looked up the videos, go to the Great Millstone, Chicago, Great Millstone, Dallas, Great Millstone, Louisiana. Just stick to the teachings of Yahweh Shemiah Shai through Great Millstone. Don't go to any of these other groups, man. I can honestly say that. Because luckily, I came into this truth up under Great Millstone. That's the only videos I've watched. Now, I've seen the other videos of different, people, but that's after seeing Great Millstone. I was told this truth by my cousin. She came and she visited my family, and that's all that I knew. That's all she told me. She told me one thing, that I was an Israelite. That's all she told me before she left. So I did my searching, and I came across all these other different groups. Like the first day or two, and I kept searching, and I came across Great Millstone, and I said, these are the men. These are the men of the Lord today. And of course, through researching and ultimately through faith, I found these men to be the men of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. That's where I learned the name. That's where I learned how to read, how I read, and everything about this doctrine, the format in which I teach. It's all through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiah Shai, through the elder apostles of the Great Millstone. So once again, Kwame Yashala, DTA, okay, Abba, and hey man, just keep on surviving. All right, brother. All right, just keep on surviving. All right, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah Kodash, Shalak, Rayam, Babakasha, Amashapayim, Awarium, Ka, Abad, Ashashwa, Wa Baba, Abad, Ashashwa, Wa Baba. Shalom.